Hello? Hello? Morning. My, this is a grand way to start the day. Bit different from what it used to be, I can tell you. I can remember like it was yesterday. It wasn't half so comfortable. It took a bloke a good hour to get to work. As for the view, if you can call it a view, you needn't ask when you were getting near the town. You knew without looking. Still, what could you expect with drab-looking houses and ugly factories? Not even a blooming place for the kids to play in. Poor little blighters. I tell you, by the time I got to work, I was all in. Well, one day I was proper fed up with it. It seemed to me we'd made a real mess of things in our town. Still, if you can make a muck-up of things, you can put them right. Boy, that's when I had a great idea. And it seemed I wasn't the only one. Oh, no.
Why doesn't he pass? Here you are, Sonny.
Thanks, Governor. Lummy! Hey, fellas! Look, George Allison. Yeah, and I'm Anne Sheridan. Mama, you were Jesus, George Allison of the Arsenal.
Crikey, I believe he's right.
Let's have a look. Oh. Ain't you George Allison?
That's right.
What are you doing here?
Looking for talent.
You can have my transfer for £5. What do you think of the game, Mr. Allison? Are the kids any good?
Well, they're certainly enthusiastic. The trouble is that each of you boys is playing for himself. Each of you want to be the one to score the goals. You forget that you're a team, and that it doesn't matter who kicks the ball, so long as it lands between the posts. Now, at an Arsenal match... Yes, they're a great team, son. Now you watch. Here's a corner kick. Look carefully. It may easily lead to a goal. Well, boys, They got very well out of there, didn't they? Oh, look out. Here they come again, though. Drake puts the ball out to Nelson on the left. He goes down the wing, then centres. Drake fails to gather it, but turns and passes out to Kirchen. He's cleverly beaten the back. Look out, boys. A crashing shot and a glorious goal. Now, boys, it was Kirchen who scored that goal, but the credit belongs not only to him, but to every member of the team. Each of those boys out there was thinking not of himself, but of the team as a whole.
That's right, Mr. Anderson. That's what I'm always telling these kids. They must play as a team.
Yes, and don't forget, in this war we're fighting today, we must all play for the team, particularly as the team we are playing for is Britain. All you boys, fathers and brothers, yes, and sisters and mothers too, are part of the British team. They know that any slackness on the part of any one of them may spoil the work of the whole team. They know that in this war we're fighting, it all depends on me.
And me.
And me.
And me.
And me.
And me. And me.
And me.
And me.
And me.
And me.
And me.
And me.
And me.
And you.
I'm telling you, it works out fine. Just you try it.
There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see. There'll be love and laughter and peace ever after tomorrow, when the world is free. The shepherd will tend his sheep, the valley will bloom again, and Jimmy will go to sleep in his own little room again. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see. The shepherd will tend his sheep, the valley will bloom again, and Jimmy will go to sleep in his own little room again. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see.
The NHS Test and Trace app is a vital part of the NHS Test and Trace service. Now based on Apple and Google's privacy-preserving technology, the app will help us safely get back to the things we love, protecting you and others. If your postcode district becomes high risk, the app will let you know and give you advice on what action to take. And if you come into close contact with another user who reports a positive test result, the app will send you an anonymous alert. A built-in QR scanner lets you check into venues quickly and easily. You can check your symptoms in the app, and if they suggest you may have coronavirus, the app is an easy way to get tested. Any data shared with the app is held on your phone. Nobody will know who or where you are. You can delete the app and all data at any time. You don't have to use the app, but the more of us that do, the quicker we can all get back to the things we love. Let's get back to the things we love. Let's get the app.
Colonel Montmorency, who was in Calcutta in '92, emerged from his retirement for the war. He wasn't very pleased with all he heard and all he saw, but whatever he felt, he tightened his belt and organized a corps. Poor Colonel Montmorency thought, considering all the wars he'd fought, the Home Guard was his job to do or die. But after days and weeks and years, bravely drying his manly tears, he wrote the following letter to the Minister of Supply. Could you please oblige us with a Bren gun, or failing that, a hand grenade will do? We've got some ammunition in a rather damp condition, and Major Huss has an arquebus that was used at Waterloo. With the vicar's stirrup pump, a pitchfork and a spade, it's rather hard to guard an aerodrome. So if you can't oblige us with the Bren gun, the Home Guard might as well go home. Could you please oblige us with the Bren gun? We're getting awfully tired of drawing lots. Today we had a shipment of some curious equipment, and just for a prank they sent us a tank that ties itself in knots. On Sunday's mock invasion, Captain Clark was heard to say he hadn't even got a brush and comb. So if you can't oblige us with the Bren gun, the Home Guard might as well go home. Colonel Montmorency planned, in case the enemy tried to land, to drive them back with skill and armored force. He realized his army should be mechanized, of course, but somewhere inside, experience cried, my kingdom for a horse. Poor Colonel Montmorency tried at infinite cost of time and pride to tackle his superiors again. Having just one motorbike, 14 swords and a marlinspike, he wrote the following letter in the following urgent strain. Could you please oblige us with the Bren gun? We need it very badly, I'm afraid. Our local crossword solver has an excellent revolver, but during a short attack on the fort, the trigger got mislaid. In course of operations planned for Friday afternoon, our orders are to storm the Hippodrome. So if you can't oblige us with the Bren gun, the Home Guard might as well go home. Could you please oblige us with the Bren gun? The lack of one is wounding to our pride. Last night we found the cutest little German parachutist. He looked at our kit and giggled a bit and laughed until he cried. We'll have to hide that armored car when marching to Berlin. We'd almost be ashamed of it in Rome. So if you can't oblige us with the Bren gun, the Home Guard might as well go home.
We joined the National Defence before the Home Guard, and we were issued with ammunition to be used to start with. We had a big lookout tower in a tree at Shells Green. We had a ladder we used to go up and get in there to look out. I was number 7 platoon. The officer was Mr. Bowie, Jock Bowie, that used to work in the ESA. Our headquarters were at the motor company.
The civil defence was very well organised. Yes, very. I think somehow, in our lot, they were trained better than the soldiers that went straight out. I mean, I could do most of the things now. Jock Bowie, he was a Scots, but he was very good.
I'm leaning on a lamp, I know I look just like a tramp. Or you may think I'm hanging round to steal a car. But no, I'm not a crook, and if you think that's what I look, I'll tell you why I'm here and what my motives are. I'm leaning on the lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady comes by. Oh me, oh my, I hope the little lady comes by. I don't know if she'll get away, she doesn't always get away, but anyhow I know that she'll try. Oh me, oh my, I hope the little lady comes by. There's no other girl I could wait for, but this one I'd break any date for. I won't have to ask what she's late for. She wouldn't leave me flat, she's not a girl like that. Oh, she's absolutely beautiful and marvelous and wonderful, and anyone can understand why. I'm leaning on a lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady passes by. I'm leaning on the lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady comes by. Oh me, oh my, I hope the little lady comes by. I don't know if she'll get away, she doesn't always get away, but anyhow I know that she'll try. Oh me, oh mine. I hope the little lady comes, but I did bum bum, there's no on the lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady passes by.
And everybody carried a gas mask. I remember when the war broke out, we were at the farm. There was an air raid warning, and a plane came down on Camp's Hill, and the black smoke poured out. We had these gas masks, and we put them on because we thought there was gas.
Private Perks is a funny little codger with a smile, a funny smile. 5 feet none, he's an artful little dodger with a smile, a funny smile. Flush or broke, he'll have his little joke, he can't be suppressed. All the other fellows have to grin when he gets this off his chest. Hey! Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. While you've a Lucifer to light your fag, smile boys, that's the style. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. Private Perks went a-marching into Flanders with his smile, his funny smile. He was loved by the privates and commanders for his smile, his funny smile. When a throng of Germans came along with a mighty swing, Perks yelled out, "This little bunch is mine, keep your heads down, boys, and sing." Hey! Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. While you've a Lucifer to light your fag, smile boys, that's the style. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. While you've a Lucifer to light your fag, smile boys, that's the style. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile.
They were summoned from the hillside, they were called in from the glen, and the country found them ready at the stirring call for men. Let no tears add to their hardships as the soldiers pass along, and although your heart is breaking, make it sing this cheery song. Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning, though your there came a pleading, help a nation in distress, and we gave our glorious laddies honor bade us do no less. For no garant son of freedom to a tyrant's yoke should bend, and a noble heart must answer to the sacred call of a friend. Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning, though your lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark cloud shining. Turn the dark cloud inside out till the boys come home.
Of course we had searchlights, you see. There was one on the corner of Stevenage Lodge Road, on the Walking Road. They got one in the Bean one night. I was in bed, and all of a sudden a bomb went down. It just missed the cowshed and came down where the cows grazed, and of course it lit up the farm. It just like daylight. Stacks that had just been thatched, so that they were shining white, and they looked like a lot of houses. Then I remember getting out of bed pretty quickly and going to get a pail and some grit to put out the fire. But it lit up all that area, and the plane was still circling above.
Lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol packing mama, lay that pistol down. Oh, drinking beer in a cabaret, was I having fun? Until one night she caught me right, now I'm on the run.
Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol packing mama, lay that pistol down. Oh, I see you every night, Bing, and I'll woo you every day. I'll be your regular mama, and I'll put that gun away.
Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol packing mama, lay the thing down before it goes off and hurts somebody. Oh, she kicked out my windshield and she hit me over the head. She cussed and cried and said I'd lied, and she wished that I was dead.
Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol packing mama, lay that pistol down. We're three tough gals from deep down Texas way. We got no pals, they don't like the way we play. We're a rough, rootin', tootin', shootin' trio, but you ought to see my sister Cleo. She's a terror, make no error, but there ain't no laissez-faire. Here's what we tell her.
Lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol packing mama, lay that pistol down.
A batch of corn, the revenuers came. The draw was slow, so now they know you can't do that to Maine.
Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down.
Pistol packing mama,
lay that pistol down. Oh, singing songs in a cabaret, was I having fun? Till one night I didn't sing right, now I'm on the run. Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down.
Pistol packing mama,
lay that pistol down.
Oh, pistol packing mama,
lay that pistol down.
You went everywhere by bike. I cycled backwards and forwards to Letchworth. You went everywhere by bike. I don't know what we'd have done without our bikes. You had to go to the Labour Exchange and sign when you were 20. I was working at the time at Letchworth, so I had to go to the Labour Exchange there. Then my father knew the governor at Saunders, and he had a word with him about it, and I got a job there. My choice was the Land Army, but there were no vacancies. Saunders was in Bedwell Lane. Well, it is pulled down now, of course. It was part of the town centre. I think Westgate goes through now. Where it was, that's where I met my husband, Mrs. Elcott's.
They were good days. Of course, during the war it was all coupons. You couldn't buy anything without coupons. I was still working at Irving's Parachutes, and I wasn't married then, and I saw Mrs. Hicks one day, and I said to her, "How are you managing with all your children?" "Well, it's a bit of a job," she said, "but my husband started making some little flowers out of different things, and we're going to see if we can start selling them." I said, "Well, you make some and I'll take them to work and I'll sell them for you." And he made me loads and I got rid of them all for him at work. So I said to her, "Now with all those coupons you're getting for your children, can you afford to use them all?" So she said, "No, I don't use them. I can't afford to keep buying clothes." So I said, "Well, what if I give you some of my clothes that I don't want and you give me some coupons?" "Ooh, lovely," she said. So all of my clothes that I didn't want I gave to her, and she gave me some coupons so I could go and buy new clothes. They were good days. Everybody helped each other. Elsie Hills.
First class conditions. We had a very primitive, slow burning combustion stove for our heating, no water laid on, only outside where the trough was. In the winter it got frozen. When the winter did come, one of the chaps had to go round to his digs in the London Road and walk back with a kettle so we could get water. And if it snowed, we used to have to boil the snow down on the slow burner. Those were our first class conditions. Our main work, 90% of it, was on brass, like bases for shell cases and also for compass cases. We were going quite well really until Mr. Wild came from the HRD and we went with his help, leaps and bounds, no doubt about it. We had so much work going on there that there was another barn at the side which was full of cars where people in Stevenage had laid their cars up, so we had to have them out and had that part too. Arthur Cox.
12-hour shift. After a few months at the ESA, I was transferred to putting the ammunition boxes together. I can't remember how long I continued doing that, but then, because the run on the ammunition boxes was getting more urgent, they decided to run what they called a 12-hour shift in the woodworking machine shop. Because I was single, I had to transfer to doing night work, and we did 7 in the morning to 7 at night, with about 3 hours break for 2 weeks. But in between, we had 2 days off, and then we transferred to night work, which was 7 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning, and there again we had 2 nights off. Sometimes during those times, when we were on nights, we used to catch a workman's train in the morning and go and spend the day in London, and then come back to work at night. It was about 1 and 3 pence in old money in return then. Enid Bates.
The night shift. We had so many operators and we wanted to use them. So Wild suggested that we run a night shift. We could start at 8 o'clock in the evening, but a lot of the people started at 10 o'clock because some of them lived out in the outlying villages, like Walken, Woolmer Green, Nebworth, and from Hitchin. So the main time was from 10 o'clock until 8 o'clock next morning, but they could start beforehand. Some of the part-timers we had on nights came from the Warren in the London Road, which were chappies like the wounded or in bad health on the light duties and things like that. And we used to have somewhere around about 10 of them on a night shift. They didn't do sweeping up jobs, but they all worked various machines and power tools. The women who worked there were all about the same age, 18 or 19 years old. They came from Walken and places like that. Arthur Courts.
Rockets and doodlebugs. The place was blacked out. When the siren went at night, somebody used to go out to watch, so that if anything should happen, he would come in and tell us and we would prepare. As a matter of fact, one morning we went out early after the siren went, and we actually saw the rockets being launched off the coast of Holland. You saw a spark, and then you'd actually see the rockets in the vapour, and it gave it out on the radio that early morning workers had seen the rockets being launched. There wasn't a shelter. When we heard what we called the doodle bugs go over, we used to run out and watch them and pray that they wouldn't stop. Mrs. Elcott's.
No time for breakfast. I used to get up about 6:30 and my mum would say, "Come on and have this breakfast." And I used to say, "I can't have the breakfast, give me a piece of toast." And I'd run up to the high street to catch a train. Of course, the station was way up the end of the high street and the train came in at 7:30 to take us to Letchworth. We started work at 8 and it was 8 until 8 we had to work, Saturdays until 4 and Sundays until 1. And because our train at night left at 7:15 and that was the last one, they said that we had to leave at 7:30. We'd come out of work at 7:30 over the Spirella Bridge because we were at the Spirella then because Irving's took Spirella over, and we'd wait for the train to come into the station. Sometimes it would be late, sometimes it would be early, but most of all it would be late. We'd get to Hitchin siding and the siren would go and we'd sit and sit and sit, some nights until 10 o'clock before they let us go. So our life was nil practically, but what part we did have of it we enjoyed.
Cowshed factory. I got bombed out in London and I saw the advert for instrument making engineering in Stevenage and applied for it. This was in 1940 when I was just about 17. I came to Stevenage and the first place I went was the Labour Exchange to see Mr. Archer, and lo and behold, the chappie who was standing behind me was by the name of Mr. Peacock, and I was introduced to him and we went down in his car to Bedwell Lane. There we went into what we called the cowshed, just a brick building, and the first thing the government said, "Can you work one of these?" which was a self-bend. I had never worked a self-bend before, but I had been on a bowlie. "Okay," he said, "the job's yours. Start Monday." From there I found some rooms in the old town. Then I started work. There were 3 lads there. 3 of us all came from London. The governor, he also came from Chingford, and the other governor, he came from Brookman's Park. W.H. Saunders and Albert Peacock. Arthur Cots.
We used to have tons of planes over. The nearest I've been to a German plane was near Royd Shefford's bungalow, and I was on the opposite field with a tractor. It was foggy, very foggy. The Dornier bomber came so low because it was coming to shoot up the train at Langley siding. I could see the German's face as plain as I'm looking at you, and he just skimmed the tree there and went straight up and down and shot up the train. I can remember the chap's face. As things began to develop, we used to have land girls, and also after the war started, we had German and Italian prisoners on the farm. They seemed to adapt very quickly. The Germans were better than the Italians. Once you showed them how to handle horses or tractors, they got it very quickly. They were billeted on the old London road. They used to fetch them with a lorry each morning. There'd be a guard come with them. It was just the same when we had threshing engines. We had the extra labour, either Italian prisoners or land girls. It was the same with potato picking or big jobs. You always had extra help.
Look for the silver lining whenever skies are gray. No matter what befalls you now, there will come a brighter day. The world will sing again, the bells will ring again, when lonely hearts are meeting, life begins anew. The sun will rise again again, with not a cloud to hide the loveliness in view. Although your dreams have gone, just smile and carry on. There must be a darkest hour before the dawn. The world will sing again, a song of spring again, for there'll be happiness around the bend for you. And then the dreams you've dreamed will all come true. Although your dreams have gone, just smile and carry on. There must be a darkest hour before the dawn. The world will sing again, a song of spring again, for there'll be happiness around the bend for you. And then the dreams you've dreamed will all come true.
Thank you.